Hi, good morning. I had a full night's sleep. It's almost 7:25 right now. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee, drink some water, and right away start today's writing. I can't wait because I really slept well, and my brain is firing all kinds of spark of inspiration right now. Yeah, let's go do that. I finished the writing, and my next task is to edit the video that I recorded yesterday. Today I'm working at my day job from 12 to 8, so it's going to be a very long day, and I'm just going to try to get as much done as possible before I go to work. Okay.
Time to trade in any red sports cars I still had. It was time to stop dreaming. You gotta do what Randall Pink Floyd wants to do, man.
I arrived at my day job and I just realized I forgot to bring the chia pudding that I made last night. I was hoping to eat that right before work, and I'm very hungry right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some food. Here's Drea again. That's a tiny camera! Alright, so I work like 45 minutes late. Today I'm overworked because we had a lot of paperwork to do because it's the last day of December. And now I'm heading home to make myself some dinner. Now I see my car.
Buzz turned into fatigue. We walked out of the casino and
Today I feel it was a little bit miscalculated because I didn't know how busy it was at the day job. Right now it's already 9:25, so it's pretty late for me. I should have drinking some hot tea and reading my book by now, but I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm probably going to have to skip the reading today, yeah, just eat and then go to bed. Poopy. I made myself a Korean tofu soup, and it's those kind of meal that fits a cold day, which today is kind of a little cold, so it can make you feel a little bit cozy and homey, and it's very easy to make. Let me show you. I know it looks red, but trust me, it's not as spicy because the pepper I use is not that great. And I have my rice here. Good morning. Right now is 8:30 already, because how late I was back home last night. I feel I didn't sleep really well, had some nightmare, and I only able to sleep for 7 hours, and I woke up in between a little bit. I showered though. I'm not very used to this schedule yet. I have been usually working most of the time in the morning, every once in a while in the evening, but this week a lot of my work is going to be in the evening, and I like it. I really like it because I can get more work done at home if I work in the evening. But I think I'm just a morning person, so my brain feels more clear if I was able to sleep early and then get up early. But right now I can't really go to bed early, so all my schedule kind of shifting backwards a little bit, which is fine. Right now I'll go to get a coffee, get a coffee. And then I'm going to start today's writing. I got a lot of stuff that I want to do. I'm using this on my lip every day because since COVID I've been wearing mask every single day. I mean, not every single day, but for most of the time my lip just get really dry. I think I read online it could be the moisture that's trapped inside the mask that caused the dryness. I don't know what to do. It's getting a little bit better. I think I just need to drink more water. Okay, let's go get coffee made and get the writing start going. I made myself a cup of pour-over coffee instead today because I haven't drinking pour-over for a while, so I'm really craving it. Anyway, I'm going to get ready get ready for the writing, and let's get it started. So this video was recorded in November, towards the end of November last year. So at that time I'm still working on my scene list, as you can see here, and I'm using the program Evernote to do my scene list. What I'm doing here basically write all the scenes in one sentence as bullet points. I'm basically reviewing all my notes from the past couple months that I did relate to this story. They concern things about the characters, what's their flaw, what they want, what they need, and then all the details of plots and certain scenes. Basically, I'm trying to put in them all together in order right now as a bullet point to make sure they kind of flows well, and then that's the first step before I'm writing the new draft. Hello, I'm done with my writing, and I think I made a pretty good progress today. Right now it's already 10 o'clock and I'm going to work on my editing a little bit more today before I go to my day job. I hope this is not too boring for you because my schedule basically the same as yesterday, so I'm basically going to do exactly the same thing and eat exactly the same thing. Speaking of that, I'm quite hungry. There's a problem with working from home is a lot of the time I feel I'm trying so hard to motivate myself to do more work, and it's cold, it's winter, and then there is someone living in your house and they just take a nap all day long, and cozy, uncomfortable, make you feel that you want to go lie down as well. I'm talking about my cats. Hello. Well, my only likes hairband, and then he would find hairband in a random place, and then he wanted it so bad. Watch this. Mama, go. Give it to me, Wilma. Come back. I just want to share this with you. Look at what I got. These two just want to treat me as a cat couch, and every time when I'm trying to work, they just sit on me. Well, they're very supportive. I did a little bit of editing, and it's about time to head over to the day job.
My world had changed. In the words of James McMurtry,
I think I've seen people with. Oh, then you can see yourself. That's so cute.
It's very HD though. What is that?
Just walking love work.
Oh my god, do you love YouTube?
Hello,
everyone.
Follow
me on Letterboxd, Maddie Wasserman.
Can I just get a bite of the cauliflower?
Portion of the cauliflower?
Yeah.
Good here.
Okay, thank you. I've been thinking about it all day.
Have a receipt for you?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I just got home and I made myself same food as last night, basically the Korean tofu. I'm going to continuously watching The Blonde and eating the dinner.
Her portrayal of a mentally unbalanced young babysitter is so chillingly convincing.
Hi guys, I finished my dinner and now I'm thinking about maybe I should get myself some tea and go to read a book a little bit before I go to bed. I didn't end up finish the movie. I only watched less than half of it. I realized it's a really long movie, 2 hours and 40 minutes ish. But I'm thinking, since I didn't read book yesterday, I really want to go ahead read some book. And then the best thing with evening reading is I'm going to get myself some hot tea. I'm still doing my tea tasting, and then there are still a lot of non-caffeinated tea waiting for me to try it out. So let's go pick a tea. This is my favorite mug to use for tea. It is handmade and I got it from a garage sale. Which one are we going to go for today? I think this one sounds good. We got vanilla sponge and also coconut and rose. I'm getting a little bit sleepy. It's very late now. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, good morning guys. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm so sleepy right now. It's really cold because it's raining outside. It's one of those days that I love rain. So it's one of those days I really enjoy staying at home. I don't have day job today, but I'm going out with a friend of mine later. Before I go to do that, I'm going to start my writing and do some editing work today. It was a very strange writing session today. In a moment, I thought I was pretty stuck certain parts of the plot towards the end of the story. And while I was writing, I come up with some ideas, sort out certain stuff. And I felt it was really good. I was pretty happy about it. And probably 20 minutes later, while continuously working on it, and I feel it sucks again. I feel you probably would relate to this, that writing is such a weird process. I believe like all the creativity process, it's probably the same. One moment you think this is the best thing ever, another moment you feel this is not gonna work. Anyway, overall I made a lot of progress. My thinking is I'm going to read through it tomorrow. I can't fix my mind into little details, and it's better I write the draft down and then read it tomorrow with a new set of eyes and see if I need to change anything or how can I make it better. I don't know if it's not sleepy enough or if it's a rainy day. Overall today I feel it's a very emotional day for me. Getting a lot of message. Sometimes you would feel a little bit behind. I just learned the director Justin Cho. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but he is a director discovered by Sundance, and he used to be a YouTuber and actor. He was in Twilight as an actor a long time ago. So his film Gook, it's a black and white film, was discovered by Sundance in 2017. And then his second film, I believe was 2019, went to Sundance again. As of now, 2022, he is making a studio film with Jason Momoa. Each time when I see other filmmakers was able to create one project after another with such a speed, even though I know it's a lot of hard work, my mind just start feel like I should be faster, I should write faster. I need to pick up on pace, I need to produce more stuff. So my mind just stuck in that very negative zone. Right now I'm trying to process this feeling. Just let it be there and to feel a little bit behind. And also trying to process the thoughts and hopefully shifting towards the direction of everybody has been doing hard work for a long time. Anyway, a lot of assumption, imagining of other people's life. Even though I understand a lot of time we shouldn't compare ourselves with other people, but we have to be honest that it's completely difficult to shut these kind of thoughts out of our mind. I think it's just a matter of fact if we can build awareness of it. Like when we think this way, feel this way, we know it's temporary feeling and temporary thinking process, and eventually it's gonna go away, and then we need to learn how to shifting the thoughts to something more helpful, more useful. I think it's a gradual process of learning about our mind and building the awareness. If I'm talking about 2016, at that time I'm still writing my first feature film. I didn't even understand anything about do not compare yourself with other people, because I feel at that time I was super unconscious and constantly comparing and pressuring myself. There was a lot of negative thoughts and I worked so hard because of it, but the work became very dreadful. Whereas today, if I'm not in the zone of being comparing myself with people or being negative, in general, I would be more present. And when I'm present, the writing and then the work process is much more enjoyable. I hope that makes sense. Well, I don't want to bring negativity for you. I'm sharing this just because I want to be honest. I don't want to give people a false impression that I'm super protective, I'm happy all the time, I don't have things that's bothering me. Not like that at all. I'm sure nobody is like that really. Just by talking to you I already feel much better. Yeah, I feel a little better that I'm ready to work on my editing a little bit now. If you felt or you are feeling the same way that I just described, I just want you to know you're not alone and it's normal. It's only normal to feel that way. All you need to do is just be aware of it that it's temporary and shifting your mind back to the present. Okay, thank you for listening me to vent my emotion. And now I'm going to do some editing, but I got cats in my way. Poopy. Oh, and this is what I do when I'm caught up in the comparison thinking loop. I just start researching the filmmakers I compare myself to. I made a video about envy. I think envy is a good thing, and it's a thing that really makes sure we know what we want out of our life, and then envy is like a compass pointing that direction for you. As long as I'm not beating myself up over it and give up on my dream, but instead I use this kind of envy, comparison, learning about other people's path, how they do what they do, and then using that as a motivation for myself in a healthy way. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, now I'm going to start doing some editing work and finish this bad boy. This is my outfit for the day. I've done some editing and now I'm going to head out for lunch with a friend of mine. I'm going to wait her on the street to pick me up. I'm back. I haven't gone anywhere. I couldn't get in touch with my friend. I hope she's okay, but right now I'm going to just wait inside the house and do some editing while she thought I heard some sound. Yeah, I'm just gonna do some editing right now. So this is what happened. My friend thought we are meeting next week instead of this week. Back then when she asked my schedule, I gave her 3 different dates, and so it was a little confusing. Anyway, I need to get my editing done, and I was a little bit stressed out that I might not be able to finish it on time, and now this worked out perfectly. I'm just going to keep doing a little bit more editing and then go get some food. But I do want to I want to treat myself something though. Should I? Today is payday, so I'm done with the first draft of the editing. Right now I think I'm just going to go ahead, treat myself a nice meal. I don't know what is it a meat day, but I keep getting a lot of emotional triggers. Usually I don't feel as intensive when I'm getting the trigger, but today is pretty bad. So I think the best thing I can do right now is to go out a little bit, treat myself a nice meal, and come back, finish the editing. But since it's payday, I think I do need to treat myself a little bit. Let's go. So I decided to come to this place to get rice noodle that kind of made sort of like my hometown food, but it's not authentic. But that's what all I can get. If I really craving anything from my hometown, they don't really have much of the cuisine here in Los Angeles. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead, go to order something. Let's go.好，谢谢。So I went in there. They don't sell the rice noodle anymore, but they sell a different kind of meal that I also like. So I decided to get that. Basically, you get to pick all the meat and veggie you want, and then they have different soup base, and then they boil everything together in the very tasty soup for you. Alright, I'm back, and then look at the food. It looks really good. I got some sashimi sauce and cilantro, and Chinese oil stick with a bowl of noodle full of vegetables. I wonder if you would feel like my diet is really strange, since I have a very Asian diet, and it's very different than most people are eating here. I'm wondering if you feel like my diet is very strange. I think Western food, I really like a salad, but if you ask me to eat sandwiches or burgers as a meal, it might fulfill my tummy for a while, but I wouldn't really mentally feel I had a meal. I hope that makes sense, and I would never ever able to eat sandwiches every single day or several days in a row. This is probably not a very common opinion, but I do not like pizza. I do like pizza every once in a while, but I'm not obsessed with pizza, and then it's never my preference in terms of food. Okay, I'm going to enjoy my meal with the movie, The Blonde. I'm still working on that one.
Did somebody die? What is all this?
Hi guys, the video is out now. I almost fell asleep in the middle of editing, so I took a nap, changed it back to my wearable blanket. Anyway, I don't know why I feel craving hot chocolate right now, so I'm thinking I'm going to make myself a hot chocolate and then read a little bit. Technically right now it's already past my bedtime, but I feel super alert, maybe because of the nap or because last several days I have been going to bed pretty late for my regular schedule. Like I mentioned before, this week is a little strange that most of my work is in the afternoon instead of the morning, so my entire schedule was shifted backwards a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm going to still trying to wind down, kind of chill, read a little bit. Hopefully that can help me get into the mode of going to bed. I don't feel like to eat more food for my dinner because my lunch was pretty late and it was a very big meal. Right now all I'm feeling is I'm still full. This is perfect. I don't know if you can see me. I don't have glasses on. Yummy. Alright, with my reading session here, I think I'm going to end this 1 week vlog on the Friday, because honestly I feel very dreadful to editing those footage. They feel very outdated for me. I'm already moved on from what I'm working on right now. I'm writing the scripts itself, and I want to film something new for you, and I'm very grateful that you joined the journey with me, and thank you for watching. Be patient, be present, stay creative. I'll see you next week.